Good evening, everyone. We'll just get started in a minute or so as folks trickle in. All right, we can get started with a round of introduction. So welcome to Hilltop District Neighborhood Council membership meeting. Thank you all for attending. We've got an agenda here in front of you. So we'll be going through that. I'm not sure if Erica is on, but she's our timekeeper. So she'll keep us in check. And with that said, we'll start with introduction. My name is Bob Catchery. I'm the president of Hilltop District Neighborhood Council, and I live in Summer Lane. And let's see who's next. Let's start with 218-709-09-377. Who's that? Okay, we'll move on. Arto.
Hi, my name is Ardo Rintila.
I'm the 9377. This is Shauna.
Oh, Shauna. Okay. Go ahead, Arto.
Okay, my name is Ardo Rintila. I'm from the Fairmead Hilltop Neighborhood Council. I'm also president of the RNCC and board of directors for West County Wastewater.
All right, Cesar.
Your District 2 council member. Glad to be here.
Great. We got iPhone 3. All right, we'll move on. Jake. All right, we'll move on. Latanya Bowles. Right. Who's next? Lena.
Good evening, everyone. Lena Velasco, Director of Community Development for City of Richmond.
Okay, we've got Marcia.
Michelle Marshall, Secretary.
Hi. Marshall or Marcia?
Well, both of them, I guess.
Okay, I'll just do Marcia. I'm Marcia Vallier, Vallier Design Associates. I'm working on the Hilltop District Gateway sign.
All right, go ahead.
And I'm Michelle Marshall. I'm the Secretary.
Okay, we've got Marietta Cinco.
Hi, I live at Summer Lane, and I'm also on the board with Bobbin.
Okay, Got Roberta.
Good evening. Hello,
Yes, we can hear you.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good evening to the Hilltop District Neighborhood Council. I'm Roberta Feliciano, Senior Planner with the City of Richmond and the Project Planner for the Hilltop Horizon Specific Plan.
Okay, Salvador.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm in communications. I have a CD, HDNC. So I'm a social media manager basically. I'm actually from Bodale.
Okay, we got Stephanie Nye.
Hello, everyone. This is Stephanie Nye, City of Richmond Community Services Department, Recreation Division.
Okay, T. Johnson.
Hi, this is T. Johnson. I'm just one of the residents of Summer Lane.
Okay, and we've got iPhone. Okay, anybody else that has to introduce themselves and would like to?
Hi, Bob, and this is LaTanya Bowles. I live in the Tides.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you.
And sorry, I logged in late. Katrinka Ruck with the Council of Industries, and I'm in Carriage Hills, Richmond.
Okay, wonderful. All right, next item on the agenda is membership sign up. You can sign up for your membership by clicking the link here on the agenda. Just fill out a form so that way you will be on the distribution list and you can get information and updates about events and newsletters and things of that nature. Is Erica on call? Erica Haywood? All right, well, we're gonna have to skip this item because Erica is supposed to present this financial report. She's our treasurer. So we will move down to report from RPD. Is anyone from RPD on call? Okay, I guess not. I will have to follow up and I'll see if I can try to get them on. All right, well, then we'll move down to report from council member for District 2, Cesar.
Perfect. Well, again, Bob, and thank you for having me. Everyone, thank you for your time tonight. Quick updates. We've been in office for 5 months. Feels like shorter but longer, but it's been great. It's been a great honor being able to serve the city council and being able to get a couple of things accomplished. Not always as fast as we would like to. And part of that is because the first couple of months in the year, as you all know, we had some really extreme weather. And with that extreme weather, it made staff focus on emergencies. So we weren't able to do a lot of other work. We couldn't really take them away from anything. And our District 2, seemed to have the most emergencies out of the rest of the city. We had 2 of the landslides, we had flooding, we had sewage overflows. Then this was part of the city of Richmond's sewage, not part of, just to make sure, Director Rintella, it wasn't part of the West County Wastewater District. So we had a lot of emergencies the first couple of months. So now it's getting more into doing a lot of the other work. Now that the emergencies are almost all gone, there's still a lot of cleanup. There's the big tree that's right outside of the community church on Hilltop Drive. Those big stumps there, the city went out to get a bid or to get bids to remove these large pieces of trees. That's not the only one, there's a few others. Bids closed 2 days ago. So those trees should be getting removed here shortly thereafter. And then there's been a couple other cleanup work all around with a big focus on our infrastructure. We just passed the mid-year budget. And in the mid-year budget, we put in $4 million towards road repair. So you'll start seeing a little bit of that as well, all throughout Richmond, not just District 2, but it's all throughout Richmond. And with that mid-year budget, just gives us a little bit of a glance at what's going on throughout the year. Do we have to, but can we budget up? Meaning we have a little bit extra money to spend, or do we have to budget down? We have to save something, cut something. Luckily, this past mid-year budget, we were able to put some money towards that road repair. So again, you should see some road repair throughout the district and throughout the city in the coming months, weeks and months here. Coming up this Saturday, so 2 days from today, we are having our very first District 2 meeting. It's a strategy meeting. And from now going out and about, inviting more and more people, this is the first time that this has ever been done. And this meeting, what I'm hoping to get out of this meeting is to really bringing down to the community what your goals are, and then allowing you the access, and then helping me more than anything, to helping me to figure out how do we budget, what's important to the different parts of the city, especially for District 2, and where do we put the money? There's only so much money. And I want to make sure that I help prioritize correctly. I want to be able to hear from everyone within District 2. And from there, I'll bring that back to City Council and say, here's what District 2 will like prioritize for this year. And then from there, hopefully being able to get my colleagues to agree and give us funding towards those items. I'm hoping to do this strategy meeting at least twice a year. One for the annual budget and another one for the mid-year budget. So that's the main goal of this meeting on Saturday. It will be at Parkchester from 10 to 1 o'clock at the Parkchester Community Center. So hopefully all of you are able to attend. It is open to everyone, not just District 2. So I would love to hear from everyone, because we have to run the city as a whole, but also with the focus on District 2. It's open to residents, to businesses, to everyone that's here. I want to be able to hear from everyone. We want to start from issues that are going on all the way to how do we resolve them, and then how do we budget for them, and then hopefully being able to work towards a solution at the end of the day there. And again, being able to put them to City Council. I've been working a couple of different ordinances, a couple of different agenda items that you'll see coming through as well. A couple of different things. One of them, I'm focusing on the feeling of the catalytic converters. So I put an ordinance together in hopes that we're going to make it a little bit tougher for people to sell them in Richmond. And with that, hopefully they go somewhere else, because they're not going to have that access to just stealing from your backyard, from your front yard in your car, and then selling it right here in our own backyard, making it a little bit tougher. So working on that part there. The other thing you might have noticed, we also voted for cameras to be put up at different intersections. So now when you drive around the city, you'll notice cameras. We're going to be putting signs as well. Two parts to that. One of them is to be able to help deter some crime. But two, if crime does happen, that we can hopefully capture the person or the vehicle that committed that crime and be able to find out who they are and be able to track them. These cameras are a little bit different than our neighboring cities. Our camera data does not go outside of the city of Richmond. Our neighboring cities, some of their data may be used for other agencies outside of their city. Ours does not. Ours will stay within the city and will only be used in case of a need. So then there's nobody watching it 24/7. They're watching it in case something happens. I mean, there is someone watching it, but there's a focus only if something is happening within that intersection. And again, hopefully it will help deter some crime from coming into our city. Now, there's a couple other items that I'll be bringing forth to me during election time, and actually every election season. You've heard me talk about bringing a hospital. So I'll be bringing that forward to staff to look into the feasibility of bringing a hospital back into Richmond. We have Kaiser, but we need another hospital. We just went through a pandemic, and in case of a bigger emergency, an earthquake, for example, we won't have the beds available for our community to be able to treat them. And also per our city charter, we are to establish a hospital. So that's written within our charter. So I'm going to be using that to help push for some ideas on how to bring in partnerships for a hospital. So I want to pause there. There's a lot of things that I'm working on. Those are high level ones. We have Lena here talking about Prologis and the future Hilltop Mall. And I've been working with the Hilltop group with ideas, with Lena, with the city, making sure that we bring forth the best project for the community. Whatever the community is looking for, we all have to live with it. So we want to make sure that we bring the project that's going to work for our community. So I want to pause there and see if there's any questions that anyone may have that I can help answer. I don't see any or hear anyone. I'm going to put my email on the chat. If you guys have any questions, concerns, any issues that you need help resolving, please email me. Several of you have my phone number as well. We've gotten a couple of small items out of the way, sort of updating some signs. We're gonna have more signs. I'm very excited. Marcia Vallier is here. We've been working together on these Hilltop signs for many years, and I'm very glad that these are finally getting completed here. So I'm going to put my email on the chat. If anyone has any questions or concerns after the meeting or at any time, please feel free to send me an email so that we can help resolve any issues that may be happening around our community. So with that, Bobbin, thank you so much for having me. I look forward to being here at the next meeting, and please invite me anytime. So thank you all, and I hope to see you all this Saturday at 10 o'clock at the Parkchester Community Room. So hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Hey, quick question, Cesar. City
Yes.
of Oakland just passed a resolution, the sideshow. Is that something that City of Richmond is looking into as well? As you know, we have a huge problem here of sideshow.
I remiss saying that, Bob, so thank you for the reminder. I heard that in the news today as well. And I will be emailing city staff to look into that as well, see if we can put such an ordinance forth to help with the sideshows. So thank you for that reminder, Bob. And yes, that is actually on my list. I was going to be sending it over to Trina to help me put something together to see if we can mirror what Oakland has done. And all of their council members, they passed unanimously. And that, so for those of you who had not seen the news yet, it's an ordinance in the city of Oakland to help curtail the sideshows, and by really going after those individuals that are causing these sideshows. So if they get arrested, they don't they don't get let go. They're holding them a little bit more accountable. So I have to look deeper into the ordinance they passed and see if it's something that my colleagues at the city council will also help adopt here. But I'm going to be bringing that forth. So thank you, Bobbin.
All right, thank you. All right, any other questions for Cesar? If not, then I think Erica is with us, so we'll go to
I was
Treasurer.
going to say that I think once the city of Oakland makes serious hard laws about a lot of the street car issues, the sideshows and things like that, I'm hoping if they pass that law, it'll just cascade throughout all of the Bay Area.
Yeah, I'm sure that, thank you, Michelle, for that. Yeah, I'm hoping that other cities do the same. So I'm going to bring it forth. As you know, I'm only one vote. But I'm going to bring it forth. And once I bring it forth, I hope that I get the community support that you call in and let our other council members know to support it as well. So you'll see that, you should see that coming up in one of the future agenda items.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Erica, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you. I had to work late and fight traffic, so thank you for patiently waiting for me. So my apologies for being late. Cesar, thank you. Congratulations too. So,
Thank you.
yeah, so our bank balance is around $500 in the bank now. And the way the membership works is annually, and it's from January to December. So basically, we did receive good responses in 2022. And thank you everyone for supporting Hilltop District. Thank you for your membership. As you know, through your membership, you're a voice for the community. And the membership dues are anywhere, it ranges from $15 to $20 annually. And if you want to pay Venmo, we have the information on the agenda as well as we take PayPal. If you want to write a check, please email me and I'll give you the address to write it to, to send it to rather. So we are looking at encouraging you to participate and join the membership at Hilltop District. As you can see, we have a lot of information, community involvement, and it'll give you support for the community. For a lot is going on right now in this area with the mall, and there are a lot of changes in Richmond, so we can be the voice for that. Are there any questions about how to join or how to pay or the range of payment? Could you add the Venmo link here? Okay. Okay, we can do that. We can add the Venmo link, type that in, as well as the PayPal. Okay, no problem. Are there any other questions? If not, thank you for your support last year. Okay, thank you, yes. So I just, last year we did have a lot of participation and our bank account increased. And so now we are looking, it's 2023, and we're looking for your involvement again. We are planning a community event sometime later on this year, as well as dumpster day. And any suggestions that you have as to ways to help and support the community, we're open for that as well. Thank you. Bobby, you have anything you want to add?
No, thanks, Erica. Yeah, we really appreciate your support on this. I encourage everyone to get involved. We want to host more events. We want to do more events. So if you have suggestions as to how we can accomplish that, we'd greatly welcome that. And if you want to get involved with the board as well, there's an opportunity to do that as well. So feel free to reach out if there's interest on that front. Okay, I think that's all we have for that item. So we'll move on to update on the Hilltop Horizon specific plan from Roberta.
Good evening to the Hilltop District Neighborhood Council. Let me share my screen. Oh, it's disabled, Bobman.
I'll change that just a second. Okay, you should be able to share now.
Great. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. I am Roberta Feliciano, Senior Planner with the City of Richmond, and I'm here to provide a brief update on the Hilltop Horizon specific plan. So to date, the consultant team and the city have worked on completing some existing conditions memorandums. Those are all posted on the project webpage. I'll also just do a refresh on the plan area or the focus area, some of the community outreach that we have done thus far, the timeline, and the next steps for the specific plan. In terms of the existing conditions, there are memos posted on the project page related to the urban design, land use, utilities, wet utilities, transportation, I would call out one of the key memos to be the market study. And then there's also a geotechnical memo, as well as opportunities and constraints. For those not familiar with the focus area, it's 145 acres. The largest site is the former Hilltop Mall, but it does also include parcels south of the former mall and east as well. So some of the community outreach that we've completed to date included the stakeholder interviews, which were held on June 29th and June 20th of last year. We also conducted a advisory committee meeting, and that took place in August of last year. I think a lot of you also participated in the community meeting #1, and that took place on September of last year. And then this year we did conduct a community survey, and that closed on March 15th. So just a couple months ago. We are working on summarizing the output, and we'll be posting that on the project page. I'm hoping to get that done by the end of next week. So in terms of the timeline, we've completed the data collection and existing conditions. Currently, we are in Q2 of 2023, and we've been working with the consultant and the design team site lab on some plan alternatives. So we're currently in the visioning and scenario planning. It is my goal to try to get to the preferred plan by the end of the year. Depending on what that plan is, we'll see what would be required as far as the environmental documentation and analysis, and then go on to the adoption hearings by Q3 of 2024. So in terms of next steps, we are currently in May, so we're still doing the scenario planning. The advisory committee meeting, I'm trying to do the end of May, but more likely will be beginning of June. The community workshop would then be in July. I really want to try to get to the preferred plan by the end of the year. So hopefully we can either do the study sessions with the Planning Commission in July or August, and then follow up with a study session with the City Council in September after their recess. And that is the update. I'm happy to answer any questions, and Lena Velasco, our Director of Community Development, is also here. We're happy to answer any questions. And then I can also share just briefly the webpage, which is hilltophorizon.com. You'll find everything here. You'll find the project timeline, as well as all of the events and community outreach we've conducted thus far. There's a summary and also the recording of the workshop. Here you'll get all of the existing conditions, memos. And last but not the least, if you would like updates on the specific plan, I would recommend that you click the Notify Me sign up and place your email there. That way you're updated on anything that's happening regarding the plan. Do you have any questions for us?
All right, any questions for Roberta? Yes, not. Okay, well, thank you.
There's a couple questions in the chat.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Looks like Michelle has a question.
All right, the question in the chat is Costco coming to the mall, and when will Prologis start to work on the mall?
I can't answer for them, but last that I heard is that Prologis is in discussion with Costco to bring them into the former mall site. They're currently still working out those details. I think Prologis mentioned that Costco wants something like 400 surface parking spaces. So that's the update I've received. And then what was the other question, Bhavin?
When will Prologis start work on the mall?
That I'm also not sure. I think it'll depend on what they're proposing, and the uses that are currently allowed. I mean, if they get the Costco in, I suppose they could start working on that sooner, but that would be a question for Prologis, I would say.
Hi, so I have not been in the loop of what's been discussed on what's going into the mall or not. That's first that I've heard like a discussion about Costco. Has anyone heard anything else other than Costco possibly working with Prologis going into that space? Any other retailers or any, I don't know, I'm just asking if anybody has.
Yeah, we can share a little bit of information. So I think as a result of the first community workshop that we held back in September, there was a strong desire by participants to try to understand what Prologis wants to do as a property owner, at least for their portion of our project site. So we have gotten a conceptual land program in terms of desired square footages of a project. So they're looking at residential, retail space, open space, including like a main street. You know, some of the comparisons that have been described are, you know, like the veranda over in Concord, where there's some lifestyle shopping, residential, some big box retailers such as a Costco, potentially light industrial uses, which could range from warehousing to studios, facilities to data centers. So I think, you know, they seem to have a pretty ambitious program that, you know, we're still evaluating how that aligns with some of the alternatives that we'll present.
Okay, so we still don't know, like Michelle was saying, like when they're going to start and when they're going to make up their mind about execution of, okay, we're going to go with this. We're going to go with this. Everything is still up in the air for negotiations.
That's correct. I mean, I think early on in the process, they've understood and acknowledged that we're going through a community visioning process, which is the specific plan development. And so part of that, they're trying to understand community needs and desires. And so I think they're also looking to hear back from the community.
Okay.
I have a quick question. I don't know if it's for Lena or Roberta, but hey, can you talk a little bit about the survey that we completed and how that's being incorporated and where that's at in terms of the feedback?
Yeah, Roberta, do you want to cover that?
Sure, I can provide an update on that. So yes, the survey did close in mid-March. We've been working on just going through the outputs to make sure that doesn't have any sensitive information. There was a raffle that was part of it, so there are some portions that have addresses and emails. So we're removing that, and then we also do need to go through and just make sure there's not anything offensive or any profanity in some of the typed in comments. And then we're going to include that as an appendix to a summary of that survey. I want to say there were almost 500 respondents, about maybe 479, something like that. Let's see, I guess I can say that there some of the key outcomes or some of the key responses relate to, you know, the horizon for development in the plan. And I think it was almost 89%, something like that, that said they wanted to see development in the area within 0 to 5 years. And then the question after that asked, you know, in lieu of that timeline or keeping that in mind, if the community would be open to introducing new uses. And the response for that was about 55% no, and then, 45% yes. So almost half and half. But again, we're working on summarizing it and completing the review of the outputs, and hope to have that posted on the project page by the end of next week. Did that answer your question, Jake?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that update.
Okay, any other questions? All right, well, thank you. Appreciate your time. And I believe we do have someone from RPD on the call. Now, they don't have the stats for our district or our beat, but we will get that in email tomorrow and we'll forward it to everyone. But Officer Church, if you want to introduce yourself, and that'd be great.
Evening. My name is Officer Justin Church. I work up here in the evenings. Your area is beat 8. I'm usually in the Hilltop area. Right now I'm working radar on Richmond Parkway, where we get a lot of obviously a lot of our serious accidents. But I was just informed of this meeting, so I apologize not having the stats. I'll get those for you tomorrow and have them emailed to your president so that for distribution. But I understand you meet quarterly, so I'll get stats for the last 3 months and get those emailed out to you guys. But wanted to let you know that I'm available to answer questions, and so if anybody has any questions right now, I'd be willing to discuss it.
Anyone have any specific questions for the officer? I've got one question. So we've had a few issues at the Hilltop Mall property where a couple of RVs are there for like long term. We talked to the mall security and they said that they call RPD, but the response is not there always. So what can we do to make sure that we kind of, because there's a lot of RVs that are parked there, and even cars that are kind of parked there because of the large parking lot. So is there anything we can do to help Prologis security address that? That'd be great.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not aware of any specific incidents like that. I worked day shift last year, and I've been up in the mall area for, this is my 2nd year now. So that all that is private property.
Yes.
But so they would have to be responsible for towing cars off of that, unless it's a stolen car. That's the only cars that we can tow off of private property. But I haven't gotten any calls from them or noticed RVs or any encampments or anything like that around the mall property. They seem to keep it pretty clean, especially compared to a lot of areas.
Okay, yeah, I'll reach out to you next time I see one.
Sure.
There was like 3 weeks ago, somebody was there for like 2-3 weeks. They were staying in their RV, and mall tried to get rid of them, but they were having a hard time. And then finally, they went away. But I'll definitely reach out to you if I notice anything further.
Sure.
Archo, you have a question?
I do. I want to thank RPD. We're having a career fair this Saturday, and Prologis as well as RPD will be there. And I know that from working with RPD in the past, that the optimal number of officers the police would like to have is about 180. Can you tell me how many officers we have right now, and what kind of hours are you actually working?
So right now we have we're in the low 90s for officers. I don't have a specific number right now. But as far as patrol officers to cover the 9 beats in the city, so obviously 5 times 9 is 45. So we need 45 officers to staff all our patrol teams. And right now we have 39 that are available. So just on patrol where it touches me the most, you know, we are like for the month of June and July, we were told we're doing 8 mandatory shifts extra. And then in addition to that, we usually can count on getting forced to do an extra shift at least once a week. So, I mean, most of us are going to earn a lot of money this year, and not because we want to, unfortunately. Yeah, it's very difficult. The chief let us know today that the reimagining board that examined the police department, they requested a outside consulting company to come in and do some surveys and have some recommendations. And the chief is going to be presenting those results to the board of supervisors next Tuesday at the city council meeting. But their recommendation is in the neighborhood of 200 officers. So, I mean, in order to double our staffing, that's just such a Herculean task. But I think that's what Richmond deserves, honestly. So that lets you know where we're at now.
Yeah, that's the reason I wanted to mention that, is because it's important for people to understand that as opposed to 180 officers, we only have 90. So when you call in, you may not get service, and a lot of the agencies have been cut. The detectives, and they're no longer gang units and what have you. So it's pretty tough out there, and nobody wants to be an officer anymore. So thank you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Cesar, do you have a comment on this, on how we can help recruit more officer, and what you've done and what you plan to do to increase it? I know this has been an issue for long before you got on the council, but what's the plan?
Number one thing, to put the word out that we're hiring. We just brought in 2 new recruits. I was at their swearing in ceremony on Tuesday, I believe it was Tuesday or Wednesday. We had the valedictorian from Oakland. So Oakland held this the class, and we took the valedictorian. They decided to come to Richmond instead of anywhere else. So the first, and that was just pretty cool. But the first thing is to put the word out that we're hiring and that we're a great city to come in and work in. There's a shortage of police officers everywhere, not just Richmond, right? So now how do we attract individuals that thought about being in the force? And then once they thought about it, how do we get them to Richmond? Just like we did with this person. So we hired 2 new beat officers or police officers. And it's almost every month right now I'm attending ceremonies for swearing in. But the next thing is, you know, we are appropriating a city council. We are appropriating budget. There's budget in there's money in the budget to bring in a couple more officers. And right now the struggle is just bringing in those individuals. We're struggling. That's the biggest struggle. So if any of you know someone that's thought about being a police officer, have them contact Officer Church or myself or anyone in the city. Or if you know a police officer in another city that maybe wants to move to Richmond, let us know as well. So right now there is funding in there. We could obviously always use more for public safety, but you know, how do we attract those individuals? And we have to just be out there. I'm trying to make myself. Shut up. We're trying to make ourselves available, attending these ceremonies so they know that we have the support of the city council, or at least of myself. being out there and being visible with the police force and trying to give them any support that I can. So I'll stop there. So you have a couple other hands there too.
All right, Katrinka.
I think Arto is ahead of me.
Shut the fuck up.
Uh-oh.
What? We,
I think
sounds
that
like
was
we,
old hand, right, Arto? Or is
No,
that
no,
me?
I'll let Katrinka go. I'll ask after ladies first.
well, thanks, Arto, but I think somebody hacked into the chat. But and anyway, I just wanted to ask Cesar, you're well aware of the budget and what's being proposed for the new year. And if you feel that there's not enough money to support our police force, can you let us know so that we can, come to city council meetings and support our officers? Really appreciate that.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely let you know. Right now, the budget's still in progress. We're having a city council sort of little mini retreat next week to prioritize some of the money. So after that, there we'll know a little bit more about where the money's going to land all over the city. Well, I'll let you guys know.
Okay. I have a question, Bobbin.
Go for it, sir.
Okay, my question is to Councilman Zepeda. For those of you that didn't watch the last city council meeting, perhaps Councilman Zepeda can answer in his own words so everybody here can hear what his reasoning was for pulling an item off the agenda that actually gave officers, the police force, vehicles. I heard the reason, and I think everybody else should hear it.
Shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up.
I don't know who that is. Someone keeps jumping in there.
Yeah.
So the reasoning I pulled, and it is not just for the police vehicles, but I also, there's somebody else there talking. So I pulled not just and it was for the motorcycles. So it wasn't just the motorcycles that I pulled. It was also the street sweepers. Last month, or I think it was in February, I almost pulled the police vehicles as well. The reason, I'll tell you why I almost pulled those. But the reason I pulled these ones were because we need to start moving towards electrification. And right now our fleet, we're continue purchasing gas-powered vehicles. And we don't have a plan yet to move us to electrification. So I brought this out so that I can have a conversation, and we actually had some really good conversation. Now the fleet manager for the police department is aware of it. We're going to be doing a couple of different programs so that the police department can help move itself towards electrification. The motorcycles themselves, we let them go, and we're going to be putting in gas power for now, because the technology for electric motorcycles is not there yet to be able to drive fast enough to be able to stop people. So that's why we let that back in. But with the caveat that we're going to be working with different companies that do have faster motorcycles, and that we can have a program so that we can start moving there. The state of California, as many of you know, has the new law that any new vehicles purchased after 2035 will have to be electric. And for the new updated section has government agencies like the city of Richmond, we have to start transitioning as early as next year. So we need to start coming up with a plan before the state laws start coming up on us. And we had not really had this conversation. So now this brought up the topic of conversation for electrification so that we can get in front of it and then have a real plan that's going to work for everyone. And then in February, I almost pulled the police cars. And this was an email that was conversation between the police and myself. And I ended up not pulling it, but I was pulling it because we were purchasing vehicles, $800,000 worth of vehicles from Southern California. And I almost pulled it because, and again, I was going through conversations with them because we weren't purchasing from our own backyard. we have car dealerships here who are struggling. And instead of giving them our business, $800,000, we went somewhere else. So I'll be bringing in new ordinances as well that we have to focus more on purchasing local, especially when we have car dealerships in our own backyard that are looking to contribute to the community. They're being taxed through Measure U, so it's only fair that we try to give them the business whenever we can. The reason I ended up not pulling it was because we were in a very short time frame. There's shortage of vehicles, and this dealership already had them ready to go. So I said, okay, but we have to learn from it, and we have to prepare ourselves to, one, buy local as much as possible, and then start moving in towards electrification. So now those conversations have been had, and everyone's aware of it. So we're going to be moving towards that in the future. Sorry, Arthur, that was a very long answer, but hopefully it answered your question.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. There's one more question or comment on the chat. It says AM PM gas station on Richmond Parkway has a lot of issues with trash, homelessness, loud music, and lack of code enforcement. So, Officer Church, would you like to comment on that?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's been brought to our attention, and we've been directed to do regular patrols there, and I am there every afternoon and throughout the evening. I make sure that there's nobody panhandling out front. There were a number of characters that were the main culprits, and they've received the message that they're not welcome there. And I haven't, the two in particular that I'm thinking of haven't been back. But yeah, sorry. The issue there is that we have a lot of traffic going in and out also, the parking spaces and things. It's just really, really busy in the afternoons there. But we are aware of it, and the police, the beat officers have been directed to be there at least once throughout their shift, and I make a point of doing that. So if you have specific concerns about any specific person or, a lot of them, I understand it's that they bring a lot of their belongings and things like that with them. And so we're trying to address that, but feel free to call and if there's a specific person that you notice is a nuisance.
Hey, thank you. Anybody else have any question for RPD? All right, thank you, officer. We really appreciate your time.
If I also hang on that really quickly on the other AM PM gas station issue, which is the at the front of the gas station, you have the big hole with the fence that's been going on. And I know some staff is here too that have been working towards that. We're still working at it. It's a legal issue now. It's the Arco gas station in the city of Richmond trying to hash out recovering that hole, getting the right permits. It's been a very long process, but we're getting a little bit closer to it. I can't share much more of that because it's with legal, but it's on my radar, and I'm definitely getting updates as often as I'm able to from staff. But that is something that I continue pushing to try to get that resolved ASAP.
Thank you, Cesar. And one more thing, if you can help with, I know it's not in our district, but that wall on Ferry and Hilltop, the Great Wall of Ferry.
Oh, that's also being repaired.
All right.
I was sorry, I thought you were on that email as well, but I got an email earlier this week that wall is being repaired, along with the tree being removed.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, next we have Stephanie Nye.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephanie Nye. I'm with the City of Richmond Community Services Department, Recreation Division. And I'm just here today to let you guys know what's going on with the Recreation Division and what programs we're offering. I was wondering if I could share, is it okay if I share my screen?
Yes, please.
So I'm going to share on the screen our Recreation e-newsletter. This is something that you could get straight to your inbox every 2 weeks. Or twice a month, to know what we're doing and what's coming up. And so I'm just going to kind of scroll through this. It's going to be pretty quick because there are a very large variety of programs that we offer. from birth through senior years. And I will, at the end of this, I'll post in the chat how you can sign up to get this straight to your inbox. And then I could try to take any questions if I can as well, if I can answer them. If not, I'll definitely get back to you. But so everyone can see my screen, right? Yes, okay, great. So this here is our Tiny Heroes training camp, and this is for infants 6 months old through 5 years old. You could take them to Nevin Community Center or Shields Reed Community Center. It's a great way to help your newborn or your infant develop and socialize with other families. And for any of these programs, you could call our registration office for more information as well, and I will post that in the chat too. For children from kindergarten through 8th grade, we have a variety of programs available now, as well as upcoming programs. We have after-school program through our Achieve after-school program at Shields Reed, Nevin, and Parchester community centers. I think the closest one to Hilltop would be Parchester. And these are after-school programs through 6 p.m. We have another version of our after-school program called Elevate, and that's available at May Valley or Richmond Recreation Complex, again for kids or students grade kindergarten through 8th grade. We have a youth soccer league, 8v8, coming up June 17th through July 29th. And this will take place at MLK Field. Cost is $550 per team. And with the end of school coming up, we also offer our summer camps. So we have 2 different summer camps coming up, or 2 main summer camps. This is Camp Elevate, and that takes place at May Valley Community Center and Richmond Recreation Complex. But we also have Achieve Summer Camp, and this is actually an award-winning summer camp. And this will take place at Parchester, Nevin, and Shields Reed Community Centers, as well as BTA, if they're open, I think. I think they're still under construction. And this is for the same age group, kindergarten through 8th grade. We're also hosting our very first citywide youth track and field meet for through 8th grade. And this is happening on May 27th. So participants can enter into a variety of different competitions and events like the 50-meter dash, 100-meter dash, javelin throwing, and that kind of stuff. This will take place at MLK Junior Park. And there's a $5 entry fee per student. So again, that's Saturday, May 27th. We're also excited to announce a new outdoor summer camp for middle and high schoolers. This is a completely free program that we're offering for the first time called Youth Outdoors Richmond. And this is funded through a grant that we were awarded through the state of California called the Outdoor Equity Grant. So for this summer, we're having 2 different cohorts, and each cohort is 2 weeks long. The first week, participants visit local parks in Richmond. So City of Richmond parks, as well as East Bay Regional Parks. And then the second week leads up to a 3-day overnight camping trip. So for the first cohort, that will take place at Castaic Lake, and that's actually all the way down in Southern California. And then the second cohort will take place in San Luis Reservoir, which I believe is about 2 hours from Richmond. And again, this is completely free, and I would highly recommend. It's a great way to get outdoors and explore different areas outside of Richmond. We're also offering Team Eco Action Week, which is very similar to the Youth Richmond Outdoors program, but this one is hosted in partnership with East Bay Regional Park. This will take place between July 17th and July 21st. And participants receive a $200 stipend after participating. We also have our fitness program. So this is basically our little gyms within our community centers available at Nevin, Richmond Recreation Complex, and Shields Reed Community Center for adults. We have drop-in pickleball available Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays at the Recreation Complex, $3 per person. We continue to offer Zumba at the Recreation Complex and Marina Bay Park. And I know I'm going really fast. That's why you should definitely sign up to get this straight to your inbox. And this is our Developing Personal Resources Center. Senior programs, we have 2 senior centers in Richmond, the Annex Senior Center and then the Richmond Senior Center on McDonald Avenue. This particular newsletter is from almost 2 weeks ago, so this event has already passed. It was held yesterday, our 39th Annual Senior Information and Health Fair. There is an AARP Smart Driver refresher course happening on Tuesday, June 27th at the Annex Senior Center. There's a cost for that as well. We have our senior nutrition program that's ongoing, where seniors can get lunch provided for free. Oh, sorry, it's $15 or what you can afford to pay. And we just started this program with R&R Hospitality Academy, where they'll be serving lunch to seniors every Thursday and also providing opportunities for youth to learn more about the catering business. These are some of the programs we're offering at our senior center. We have hula, soul, line dancing, hula at the other senior center, qigong, senior chess club. So lots of opportunities for our seniors. As you know, we have 2 aquatic facilities, Richmond Swim Center and then Richmond Plunge, which are open. They'll be offering swim lessons this summer. You can register online. Little Splashers class for parents and toddlers, 6 months through 5 years old. And then Cinco de Mayo has already passed. This event has already passed. We did have our citywide garage sale. An upcoming event is the Juneteenth Festival at Nickel Park on Saturday, June 17th. And then our department hosts the annual July 3rd fireworks. Fireworks will start at 9:15 at Marina Bay Park. I think I'm coming towards the end. Well, this is my program here, Love Your Block. I did present on this quite a while ago, but in case you aren't aware, this is a sponsorship program that we have where if you're doing any kind of volunteer beautification, we could provide the supplies that you need for that. So if you're planning to do, let's say, a street cleanup or sidewalk cleanup, or you want to clean up one of the parks in Hilltop, we could provide the supplies for that. So your gloves or garbage bags, vests, plants if you end up wanting to take care of the plants. Also refreshments for volunteers. So if you're interested in this program, we do still have funds available through the end of the fiscal year. And then we'll have funds again starting July 1st as well. For those of you who don't know, we have the Richmond Tool Library, which is a free service to all Richmond residents. You can rent tools for free. Some of our most popular tools include pressure washers and weed whackers. So if you don't want to purchase that yourself, you could definitely just head on over to the Richmond Tool Library every Wednesday, 1 to 5, become a member and rent it for free. We are hiring, so if you know anybody who wants to work with the Recreation Division on a part-time basis, we're hiring for program aides, program leaders, lifeguards, and office clerk cashiers. And lastly, hopefully this is the last one, we have a recreation survey that's ongoing now until May 26th. This is for a chance for everybody to provide feedback on our programs and offer suggestions for new programs or events that you want to see through the Recreation Division. And I will also post that through the chat. Yep, these are just some highlights from our program, some photos. Some more Park RX Day, which happened on April 30th. And then there's one more event that's not on here since it was just released, but the Reimagining Public Safety Community Task Force is hosting a community summit on Saturday, June 3rd from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at King Elementary School. Topics will include traffic safety, harm reduction, and overdose prevention. police policies and practices, youth employment, training and safety, as well as poverty reduction strategies. And lunch will be provided to all participants. And I will post that in the chat too. So I feel like I took a lot of time and I apologize. But I hope that gives you kind of an idea of all the services we offer through the Recreation Division, and I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Stephanie. This was very useful information. Any questions from anyone?
So Stephanie, so I was just curious because I know that you helped out with the dumpster day. Are you still organizing that for this year?
So I help with the communications regarding it. I don't organize the event itself, but yeah, do you have questions that I might be able to answer?
Oh, I guess we need to schedule our annual dumpster day for the Hilltop District, and just need to know, how do we get that started and finding the ideal date, because we need to figure out who can volunteer on that day, because that's what we struggled with last year, was that we didn't have the volunteers we needed, because it was, well, at least I felt like it was just dropped on to us on whichever day.
So the schedule is created at the beginning of the year. And Hilltop Districts is scheduled for August 26th.
Okay, that's good to know. And are we going to use the same postcard for the locations as last year?
Yeah, it'll be very similar to what was last year, and we typically send it to the neighborhood council before we actually print it. So in case you have any feedback or suggestions, if I remember correctly, I think last year we added a dumpster to like the parking lot of the mall. Prologis wanted to help support another dumpster. So we could, as long as they're willing to contribute again, we could look into adding another location again.
Okay, great.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. We'll move on to the next item on update on the.
I see Arto has his hand up.
Hey, sorry, Arto, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I just, I have a comment. I just wanted to comment that all of those advertisements and flyers were for other parts of the city, and Hilltop's been neglected for decades. And I really feel with Cesar's help, we need a senior center and a recreation center here in Hilltop. So I think that we should ask that our city council person start to drive for one.
And I strongly concur with that. We definitely need a senior center of even a library of some sort up here. That's, everything's either in the central Richmond area or, even the southern district, but not the northern part of Richmond.
Excuse me, noted, Arto. That is something also that I've asked Prologis whenever they're building out stuff as part of one of the community benefits. But we'll look to see what else we can do in case Prologis doesn't move forward for some reason, or they're taking longer, see if we can do this concurrently somewhere else too. So I'll take that back. Thank you.
Okay. Next item from Marcia. Want to give us an update on the sign?
Yes, I'm Marcia Vallier, Vallier Design, and as Cesar said, we've been working on signage in the Hilltop District for, I don't know, 10 years, something like that. It's been a long time. And so little by little, we're getting in the signs. We have, we have one up on the Hilltop Drive as you enter off of I-80. So we have that one, but now we're putting in the big gateway sign. Would it be all right if I share my screen for a second?
Absolutely.
Okay, see if I can, I'm really kind of inept at this. Okay. The location for the project is right on the corner of the Richmond Parkway and the Blume Drive. The sign itself is going to look kind of like this. It will look like this. It's a Corten metal steel sign, and it says "Welcome to Richmond." And then below that, on the curved walls, it says Hilltop District. We're actually sent. You can see the photograph up in the top right. What we did is we printed out banners to make sure that we had the correct position of the signage. And what we did is there's multiple viewpoints along the parkway. There's viewpoints from Blume Drive as it comes from Pinole. Yeah, I guess it's Pinole. Coming through Pinole, it was Fitzgerald Drive, comes into what is the Richmond Parkway. So we've got that viewpoint, and then we've got the I-80 off-ramp viewpoint. So the sign is on the curved walls, and you'll be able to see it. What we did is we put these banners up so we could make sure that you can see it from all the viewpoints. And there are stationary viewpoints, you know, when you're stopped at the stop signs or the stoplights, you'll have a nice view of the sign. But then transient, as you drive through, we wanted to make sure that you could see the signs as you're driving through, as you're sitting at your stoplights. So we've done that. We've from this sign mock-up, we were able to get a confirmation that yes, it was in the right location. The other thing that we're doing is we're bolding up the letters. They'll be a little bit more bold than this. When it's reversed out, it'll look much better. The sign is lit, so it will have the nice glow of bright lights, not too bright, of course, but bright lights along the Welcome to Richmond. The Hilltop District sign will be centered because we thought that looked a little bit better, and it says Welcome to Richmond Hilltop District, so it feels like that's what this whole sign is about. And the wave pattern, you know, all the Hilltop design since its inception, you know, I don't know how many years ago, had that wave design. So we wanted to make sure we did that on the Welcome to Richmond sign. And it's a punched metal, so you'll have this really pretty sparkle of light coming through. So you might have noticed that the walls have been plastered. The lower wall that used to say City of Welcome to Richmond, City of Pride and Purpose, that's been plastered over. We need a second coat on one of them to make sure that you can't see the lettering coming through, but that's been done. Today, the contractor was there. They're starting to auger the footings in, and they ran into a little bit of an issue because the as-built we had of those large walls, their footings were a little bit larger. So we're having our structural engineer double check on what we want to do to make sure that the sign is stable. But we also have the drilling of the footings and the fabrication of the framing is underway right now too. So it's exciting. It looks like he gave me a range of end of May to mid-June for this being completed. And I think we're really on track, and I'm very happy with the progress. So I hope you are too. If you want to see, you know, we've got additional construction drawings that the signs are 6 feet high, and they're placed centered in the planters. And then we've got the construction drawing with all the different framing, and you know, so it's a really nice sign project that the group helped us design years ago. So thank you so much for your time. If anyone has questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any question for Marcia?
Marcia, when we were starting this project, and it was many years ago, as you mentioned, I lost track of it.
Yeah.
We were thinking of 3 signs, not just one. So this is going to be just one sign, and then
Yes.
later on we pick up the others.
So no, so what happened was we went to Caltrans. It took me almost a year to go through the Caltrans project. What you have to do is get an encroachment permit. The state regulations from Caltrans is that on their property, you're only allowed to have the name of a county, but not a city. A county or a district, but not a city. So we fought and Yoder, who was the public works and the community development. Anyway, he was the head of the public works department. He was a former Caltrans employee and we went all the way to the state to get, you know, to get regulations changed. But thing is, if they change it for one person, they change it for everybody. And so they're holding pretty strong to not letting us have a sign that says Hilltop District on the Caltrans property. So right now we just have the one sign. I think let's see how it goes. Let's see how everybody likes it and see if it creates that welcoming feeling. And if we want to, we can try and go all the way up the chain again. It really was a very frustrating process, but that's why we don't have it on all 3.
Thank you for that update.
Yeah, so Cesar, we have kind of decided that we're gonna take a break on the sign, and because there are other projects that we want to work on, which I'll talk about in the end. But we want to use some of the funds to address the landscaping in the Hilltop district. And then of course, with what happens at the mall and our old signs, we need to do something with that because they're all invalid now, right? It points to Hilltop Mall and things that don't exist, restaurant and such. So we're gonna have to come up with a larger plan to address all the signs in the Hilltop district as the new development comes here as well. Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you, Marcia. Really appreciate
Thank you for your
the
time.
update.
Take care.
All right, the next item on the agenda is from Elaine. Elaine?
All right, and then to segue off of what Bobbin had just mentioned about, the signage in Hilltop, one thing that we need are, committees, people who want to volunteer their time to create a committee that can help benefit the Hilltop district. And, so it could be a review design committee, could be a planning committee, someone who wants to be in charge of the signs and try to decide what is appropriate signage that we have in terms of get rid of the ones that say restaurants if we don't have it and so forth. But other committees that we could use, which, right now there's nobody running these committees, but but other neighborhood councils in other parts of Richmond they have emergency preparedness. There are some neighborhood councils that have a very strong community emergency response team where they have blocks of people who have been trained by the city of Richmond to prepare themselves for an earthquake or a natural disaster. And so we need more people from the Hilltop district who are willing to take the courses that when the city of Richmond has them available. I'm not sure when the fire department will have the next series, but they right now are finishing up their spring academy. I'm hoping they'll have a fall academy for people who are interested, and we definitely need more people from the Hilltop district to participate in that, have some kind of action plan when there is a natural disaster. How can we mobilize ourselves when fire is not able to come and help us? We have to be prepared for 3 days without possible service from them. Can we survive that on our own? And we're so remote from the rest of Richmond that is something's a huge concern. But also there's beautification of Richmond, in terms of landscaping, in terms of parks. Do we want to beautify our parks more? And going back what Stephanie mentioned about loving your block, that could be something that we have committees that want to write that grant to love your block and maybe clean up the lake more. I know Cesar does a great job of having his lake cleanups every so often, but we need more of that to happen. And also other city parks as well in Hilltop district. Or maybe a committee that wants to focus on the history of Hilltop district, how at one time we were part of a San Pablo tank farm, and how the Hilltop Mall came about. Maybe I have a committee that wants to work on the history of Hilltop district to make us appreciate where we live even more and how it has evolved since those days. And other committees that may seem to be important could be public safety, or street maintenance in terms of signage or street lights that are not working, or how do we prevent more sideshows and donuts happening all over our neighborhood, especially around Hilltop Mall where Blume and Close Way. That's like almost a weekend thing now where, that intersection is always having some kind of sideshow, and you can see all the burnouts freshly all there with the rubber all over that intersection. So we just need to have people who are willing to volunteer their time. And what I'm willing to help coordinate, I guess anybody who wants to help establish a committee, but one thing is that we definitely need people. And if you are interested in volunteering or establishing a committee to benefit the Hilltop district, I suggest that you email hilltopdistrictrichmond@gmail.com, and that's one way to get started. And hopefully we have more volunteers that want to help us improve Hilltop district.
All right, thank you, Elaine.
You're welcome.
All right, I just got one more thing before we open it up for everyone. Just going to share my screen real quick. And I have sent this via email to all of you. But essentially what I've done is met with Public Works, and what we want to do next is improve all our medians. As you know, the medians in our Hilltop district are not to the standard that it needs to be. We pay assessment in form of tax into HLMD, Hilltop Landscape Maintenance District, and we really don't see the benefits of that assessment. So instead of just all year round coming down, just cutting the weeds, what we're going to do is do some improvements. So the first one, Robert Miller Drive, they've done one section of it already, install a red bunch, install a bunch of new plants. But we're going to do that on the rest of the streets on our district. So we've kind of like laid out all the street and what improvement needs to be done. A lot of the places, the water is actually broken. Water line is broken for various reasons for years. So we're going to have to kind of reinstall the water line, or at least reinstate the water lines. But here's kind of the map and numbering of each street that's owned by Hilltop, that's within the Hilltop Landscape Maintenance District and Hilltop District. But you know, I've shared this spreadsheet via email, and I really want to invite the community to like participate and provide any innovative idea on what we should be doing at each of the medians. Maybe take a look at the ones that we've already done. You don't like it, you like it. If you have other ideas, then we'd be willing to sort of incorporate that into this project. But as you can see, we're gonna do probably one or two median a month, and hopefully we can stick to this schedule. I'm following up every week on this with Public Works. And anyways, if you have any feedback, feel free to reach out at Hilltop or Hilltop District Richmond or on my personal email. Either one is fine. And the other thing I wanted to share is our action item list that we walk. We have a monthly meeting with Public Works. By the way, are you able to see my action item list, or what are you guys seeing on the screen right now? Oh yeah, you are.
We can see your action item. I can see your action item.
Yeah, so this is the list of actions. Some of the yellow ones are closed, but we speak with the Public Works Director on a monthly basis, where we discuss all the issues that are brought to our attention. For example, donuts and sideshow that Elaine talked about. I think it's here. One of the items is in here. But anyways, feel free to, you all have link to this. If you get in our email, you can add to the items here. I monitor this list, and feel free to add to this item, or just email us. We can add it to it, and we can track it to completion. I'm going to get Cesar involved in this as well. Hopefully he can help drive some of the stuff as well. For example, this AM/PM abandoned construction that's ongoing for God knows how long, 2 years almost. But in any case, I just wanted to share this two lists with you. And if you do have any comments, feedback, or if you would like to add to it, please do so. I think that is all I have. Last item on the agenda is just a Q&A. Anybody have any questions, concerns, feedback? Please
Hey,
feel
I'd
free.
like to add something. I mentioned that the membership is $15 to $20, and that's because we allow for flexibility. So some people pay 15, some people pay 20. So that's why we have the range for flexibility. And there's no difference. You're a member. If you pay 15, you're a member, you pay 20. Thanks everyone who did send money. I did get a quick response, Bobbin, so that's good. Thank you everyone who have sent membership during this meeting. I really appreciate it.
All right. Anybody else want to have a last word?
Oh, I have another question. I'm sorry. I know Cesar had been pushing for a grocery store in our area. I want to know if he's still pushing for that. You
No
remember-
pushing for that, Erica.
You've been pushing and you've been saying it has not happened, and we need a grocery store. I want to
I
make
know,
sure
but
that on your list. I mean, so
now I'm on this side, and I have a little bit more access, so it's definitely on there. But I've only been there 5 months. Give me a little bit.
Yeah,
so I've
but-
also been pushing the hospital. So right before you got in here, I was talking about a hospital, and also the grocery stores. So
Okay,
that's
good.
definitely on my list.
Okay, good.
So
Thank-
I'm wondering if that could be part of, Hilltop Mall, a grocery store that's like, an anchor.
Let me share a little bit about discussion with Prologis. So we have a Hilltop working group that meet with Prologis on not a regular occurrence, but we've met like 2-3 times. And they've kind of presented a high level plan to us. And the city of Richmond is in that meeting as well, but it's nothing concrete. It's like they don't have any partnership with any other retail or entertainment or housing. It's just an overall generic plan. But as you know, city of Richmond is working on a Hilltop Horizon plan, and we want to make sure that whatever's in the Hilltop Horizon plan finally decided is what's going to be at the Hilltop District. So the meaning Prologis is going to have to submit a proposal based on what the Hilltop Horizon plan decides. And one of the things that we've been pushing for is Costco's, because you know that Costco is interested in coming to Hilltop. And what we've asked Prologis to do is go ahead and negotiate with Costco and try to bring that to reality. And what the last information that Prologis provided us is that they are still in negotiation with Costco. They're close to making a deal with them. And we're really hoping that Costco comes here. The other reason to push for Costco only right now is because the larger plan is obviously going to take time. It's going to take 5-10 years before you have the entire package here. And I'm not sure Costco is willing to wait that long to sort of come to it, because they have other options. They have option in Hercules, they have option in Pinole, and we don't want to lose out Costco at Hilltop. So therefore we're kind of pushing them to, hey, go ahead and do that now, at least as a phase 1. So that's where things are with Prologis. They just said that they're still in negotiation. As soon as that more information or deal is finalized with Costco, they'll share with the community, and then they'll also share their grand vision with the community.
Would they remove Walmart if they were to, take a portion of?
No. So Walmart is so yes and no. So right now we're asking them to bring Costco on the existing parking area where they don't have to demolish the existing building.
Okay.
But Walmart has also reached out to Costco and not Costco, to Prologis, and Prologis reached out to Walmart, where Walmart actually wants a single story store. So Walmart is interested in doing that, and Prologis wants to have Walmart relocate as well, because they're kind of right smack in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
So they are working on that, but obviously Walmart has a 70-year lease, so they hold all the cards.
Oh my God.
So it's like, who's going to pay for their new store and how big the footprint is going to be. All of that negotiation is ongoing. But that'll be incorporated as a larger part. Walmart has kind of said that this store is actually struggling here. So either they're going to invest like $4 to $5 million to upgrade the store, or they're going to, rebuild a new store, single story store. So they're going to kind of decide whether to shut down the store, invest $4 to $5 million, or completely redo the store. So they're also going to do that.
Okay, so we only have Costco on the hook as far as the retail. And then it's just, oh God, it's 5 years is.
Yeah,
wow.
but Prologis will submit their grand plan, once the Hilltop Horizon plan is finalized, which Lena and Roberta shared, is another 12 to 16 months away. So once that's done, then that allows Prologis to submit their plan, and then they'll negotiate with the city on whatever zoning, if there's any zoning changes required. But that process is far away. So
Yeah. So we just have Amazon trucks and that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
And I invite everyone to continue to put pressure on Prologis and reach out to them. They have a website as well. I think it's Prologis/Hilltop. Reach out to Samida, who's actually on our board, but is not here. But we need to continue to put pressure on them to do something because right now it's not doing anything. That part of mall is just collecting dust. So
Yeah, it's like a wasteland.
Yep.
That's it. It's just taking up space. I mean, it could be productive, part of our community, whatever. Okay, fine.
also, you have a comment?
I do. I wanted to let everybody know, if you get a chance, you should start tuning into the city council meetings. It's very important to understand what's going on with the political scene today. It's important to see that why Cesar's not always getting the votes, even though they're the right votes. It's important for people to get involved with the city politics. So I wanted to announce that we are having a career fair this Saturday. We've got tons of companies coming. So if you know anybody that's looking for a career or a job, please send them our way. It's at the Hilltop Community Church, 3118 Shane Drive. We've got AC Transit, Youth Works, Contra Costa Water, West County Wastewater, our company, Prologis will be there. If you want to ask Prologis questions, come by and ask questions. But there'll be several, maybe dozens, a couple dozen unions from the building trades. So it's a really good opportunity for people to get into a career. So if you get a chance, come by this Saturday from 10 to 2 at the Hilltop Community Church. Thank you.
All right. Well,
Yeah, one other thing, I'm sorry. I did notice a sign at the mall saying they're gonna have some kind of circus. There was a sign over there by Macy's.
yes.
So they're gonna have some kind of circus. So they are using the mall for activities and entertainment. That's just my point.
Yes, today's the first night of that show.
Oh, lots of traffic probably.
Actually, Bob, and maybe you should ask everybody on here if there anybody would be interested in a flea market up there or car shows or because Prologis is open to suggestions for the use of the property while it's sitting there waiting to be developed.
I remember we had a car show and there was like legit Lamborghinis and really expensive cars that came out and they were all on display. They even had the old school Oldsmobiles and we did it like I don't know how many times, maybe it was going on like what times, like 6 times. It was like at least 6 times. Yeah, it was like on a weekend. And then we had coffee trucks come out and a couple of vendors. That would be cool. I don't know who set that up, but that was nice.
Cars and coffee.
Yeah,
Better.
yeah. That was great.
And that was with, I guess, the Shops at Hilltop owners, like when they were doing that and promoting it. And that first one was huge. That very first one was huge. And you know, then it was like small after that. But yeah, they had cars that were just revving their engines around Hilltop Mall Road. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
Somebody said they want a farmer's market. They said we should do like a farmer's market.
That sounds good.
Yeah, people will probably come to that. It could be flea market, farmer market combined. Yeah.
I mean, I have cousins that have like food trucks. I could call them like frozen custard and we can always get, what was it? Senior Sisig. They're really popular in San Francisco.
Well, we are looking to host food trucks for our next event, most likely at Country Club Vista. So maybe we will reach out to you then.
Yeah.
Actually, Cesar, could use your advice when you were doing the food emporium. What was that like organizing that? Because we could, you know, follow in your footsteps. I mean, do those food trucks have to have permits from the city of Richmond to have a business license so they can operate in Richmond?
Also from the county. So if it's a public event, like the food emporium, which was what helped bring the car shows to the mall, then yeah, you need the permits from the city, the permits for the county, and all of that there.
And the vendors need their licenses also with the, yeah, okay.
With the city, yeah.
Yes, we could organize. There's a question in the chat whether the association could organize. Yes, we could organize. We just need some contacts. We're looking to host a farmer's market as well. So if everybody has any contact, I'm sure Prologis will be glad to kind of provide their parking area to us. They've actually already offered that to us. So, yeah, if there's an idea and if you know of anyone, then we can definitely host things like this.
Yeah, and especially if you know any food trucks that already have their business license with the city of Richmond, that, is one less hurdle to worry about. So if you know any food trucks that already have that cleared, that would be very helpful.
So in June, you have the Taste of Richmond that's going to be happening at Civic Center. So if you want to go and chat with either the operators of that, which is the Economic Development Commission, or just come out to the event, you can see the food trucks there and talk to them and get their business card.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, anyone else have anything? All right, well, in that case, you all have a good evening and we'll reconvene next quarter. Thank you for attending the meeting.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Check this out. This actually looks